Welcome to Positive Atheism English channel. Today, in our program, My Life with Gora, an autobiography of Srimati Saraswati Gora, an atheist, I am going to continue the fourth part of the book, and this is going to be in her own words. Since I was the only girl after 4 boys, and since both the girls born before me had died in childhood, I was raised with much affection. As the girls born before me were dead, they believed, according to the belief system of the day, that I would survive if they didn't have a naming ceremony for me. So, they didn't give me a name until I was admitted to a school. Everyone at home called me Chitti. I was admitted to the Jiddu school near our home in my 5th year. As I was about to start my school, my granduncle named me Saraswati after the goddess of learning. Except for the time I went to school, I was always at home. When I was a child, I always liked sitting with my granduncle. He used to sit on a bench at the window facing the street. I enjoyed sitting in his lap or standing at the window and watching people passing by on the street. My granduncle gave much in charity. He always prompted me to do the same thing. In that off-aware age, I always relished the idea of giving anything to someone. We had jasmine bushes in our home. They were in full bloom. My granduncle had all the jasmine flowers collected every evening and made me distribute them to all the neighbors. He gave me or my sister-in-law just a few of them. My mother used to chide my granduncle occasionally on this matter. "She is such a small girl. Why don't you let her have more flowers?" she would say. My grandfather would reply, "We should teach children how to give well when they are still young." Perhaps because my granduncle taught me as a child the spirit of giving, I never had attachment to property. We had servants in our home to do all the chores except cooking. My mother served food to everyone wearing ritually pure clothes. Everyone at home ate wearing ritually clean clothes. I didn't have anything specially to do at home, yet I never had a moment of free time. My elder brother had paid attention to my studies, and it was my mother's role to help me worship. Under my mother's supervision, the 24 hours in a day were not enough to worship God. I would participate in all my mother's daily rituals and worship. In the Dasara holidays, our family celebrated the Navaratri. We bore all the expenses of celebrations. The celebrations from the first day of the month at Ashvayuja to the 10th day took place on a grand scale. On these holidays, we performed the puja of Bala Tripura Sundari twice a day. In the nights after the worship, they recited the Mantra Pushpam. All the time they recited it, I used to stand with folded hands in great attention. I wished that I would have a great education, and after the worship, I would place the hands on top the lighted camphor offering and pressed my eyes with them. In every Vaishakha month, we would distribute mangoes and palm leaf fans to Brahmins, as many as we could. In the month of Kartika, I used to get up early every morning, bathe and light candles in cups of banana leaves and leave them in the lake. At the end of that month, we had garden feasts. All our relatives came for the dinners. The month I liked most was Shravana. Ever since I was a child, I had the habit of performing worships on the Tuesdays and Fridays of Shravana. Keeping the house clean, wearing a variety of new dresses, decking ourselves with jewelry, and inviting friends, that was all a big excitement. Then there were not only the small festivals like Atlataddi and Ganesh Chaturthi, there was also Sankranti, dollhouse, Bogipallu, that was so thrilling, pieces of sugar cane, Regipallu, Dammidi. In those days, we had Dammidis, 192 Dammidis for a rupee. It was a very small coin. We used to put them in small sugar-made cups and distribute them. When we were arranging the dolls, all sorts of fantasies would run wild in our young minds. Although much of time was spent in worship and observances, I always studied well. My father was especially fond of me. Every day, as soon as he returned from his work with the Raja, he would remove his turban, place it on my head, and enjoy the scene. I remember well another incident from my childhood. My mother had colic and the situation became serious. They had to perform a major surgery by cutting into her abdomen. In those times, medical facilities were not as well developed. There were no facilities for surgery in Vijayanagaram. Specialists had to perform it in Calcutta. But how? The Maharaja and Maharani got wind of this. Right away, they called my elder brother, told him not to worry and not to worry about money, and they would foot the bill for all the expenses for the surgery and travel, and invited us to stay in the royal palace in Calcutta. Thus, with great concern, they extended a reassuring and helpful hand. In those days, the Maharani called the families of servants at least once every 2 or 3 months to inquire about how they were doing. I would accompany my mother and sister-in-law when they visited the Rani. The Maharaja and Maharani particularly favored our family. My granduncle, father, elder brother, sister-in-law, Aunt Venkamma and I all went to Calcutta with my mother. I was then 6 years old. We lived upstairs in the royal palace in a huge castle in Calcutta. After the surgery, it took 3 months for my mother to recover. In those days, people were scared of surgery. They carried my mother upstairs in the hospital in a lift. We went in it. There was no end to our amazement at their movement in the lift. We prayed every day for my mother's recovery and good health. Thanks to the recommendation of the Maharaja of Vijayanagaram, the doctors showed special interest in performing the surgery. After the surgery, we brought my mother back home in good health. Another special feature of my childhood, and regarding this special feature, we shall note in the next episode. Thank you.
For more videos, please subscribe to our Positive Atheism English channel presented by Samaram channels, which has crossed more than 20 crore views. Please like, subscribe and share our videos, and for notification of our new videos, please click the bell icon.